You're listening to Sparks Creative Stories, our audio podcast. This story is Zoe Can Float, written by Sheila Cowley, performed by Eugenie Bondurant and Fanny Green, and inspired by the Oceanography Camp, especially for girls.
Zoe's sister is a scientist, so she gets to scoop things up and take them to a lab with cool equipment and make pretty colored charts with zigzags.
Lily says the zigzags are math, but zigzags are Zoe's favorite way to sign her name.
So she found it utterly unfair that Lily got to go listen to fish with underwater microphones when Zoe couldn't get near the water without holding someone's hand.
Okay, Lily just finished the 8th grade, and Zoe just got out of 2nd. But that didn't make her feel better when they dropped off Lily at the amazingly named Oceanography Camp, especially for girls. And Zoe had to stay home reading books about the ocean.
Zoe was feeling left out and reading a library book about submarines inside the great big cardboard box that Uncle Beto gave her when he hooked up solar panels on his roof.
Uncle Beto's box had been a rocket and an island you could only get to by doing a complicated dance. And a fort that Zoe defended with a big blue sword that used to be a pool noodle.
Zoe was reading about diving so deep in the ocean that it was as cold as climbing up a mountain when her granny knocked politely. Zoe could hear the barking from a block away as they stepped out at the shelter where a lot of dogs were wishing for a home. Zoe held her granny's hand to keep from running, though she wasn't sure if she wanted to run away or run toward the dogs and hug them all.
The only dog who wasn't barking looked Zoe in the eye. A little brown dog with a squeaky weasel toy gripped tightly in her teeth.
Zoe decided then and there that this dog's name was Captain Pelican. The captain wagged her tail and let Zoe pick her up, and Zoe felt better.
When they got home, Captain Pelican explored the closet as Zoe wrestled out their old blue wading pool. The captain followed her as Zoe put on her bathing suit and squinted as their mom smeared sunscreen all over her while she was in an online meeting.
Zoe put on her purple floppy hat and scientific sunglasses.
She dragged the pool to the backyard and blew it up with the bicycle pump, while the captain chased herself around a tree.
Zoe turned on the hose to fill the pool up and made a table out of Lily's boogie board so she could keep her submarine book dry. The captain snored as Zoe read about fish who live so deep they never see the sun, so their skin flashes like fireworks to light things up.
But when they picked Lily up, she was singing a song with her new friends about how boats float, and Zoe felt left out again. Lily told them that she built a boat from kitchen foil and tested it, and it floated, holding 57 marbles.
57 is a lot of marbles. Lots more than I thought a boat made out of foil could hold.
Me too. It seems crazy, but it's math. It works. Lily showed Zoe her notebook. See, you write down everything you try in your experiments. Then you have a record of what works and what doesn't. Lily told them she was going to make a cardboard boat tomorrow, big enough for Lily and her boat partner Maxell to float in.
And suddenly, Zoe knew exactly what she had to do. Build a cardboard boat so she and Captain Pelican could sail away for science. And she'd write it down. She told Captain Pelican her plan as the captain flipped over so Zoe could rub her tummy.
The next morning, they dropped Lily off at Oceanography Camp. All the 8th graders looked so grown up, talking about tracking sharks to find out where they swim.
When they got home, Zoe and Captain Pelican went hunting for the great big bag of marbles their cousins had outgrown. Zoe finally found the marbles behind a pile of board games as Captain Pelican unearthed a shoe that Zoe outgrew.
Zoe picked out a cool red notebook as her scientific notebook, wrote her name in big zigzags, and used a pen with purple ink to write down all the places where they looked for marbles. Then she drew a green map with magenta monsters to show where they found them.
Zoe got out the kitchen foil and Googled science boats and spent the morning folding foil boats shaped like all the boats she liked best. She drew each boat in her notebook with a lot of flowers and a zigzag sandwich. Then Zoe squinted while her mom smeared sunscreen on all over, put her purple floppy hat on and her scientific sunglasses, and began slowly sinking her foil boats in the wading pool by putting one too many marbles in them.
Captain Pelican enjoyed the testing phase by sleeping on Zoe's science notebook.
Zoe made a round boat like a bowl and was surprised that it floated with 37 marbles.
She made a tiny square boat that floated with 5 marbles before it sank. A boat like a banana that could float with 39. And a shiny triangle that sank spectacularly with 3 marbles. So spectacularly that she sank it 5 more times.
Zoe wrote all that down and drew a picture of each boat, then drew Captain Pelican in a funny hat.
The boat Zoe made, shaped like a stop sign with 8 sides, was the best and floated with 87 marbles. Zoe wrote that down in red and drew her stop sign boat in pink zigzags. Zoe and Captain Pelican surveyed the bright blue bottom of the pool where the shiny kitchen foil of Zoe's boats glinted in the sun like sunken treasure.
Progress! Captain Pelican brought her squeaky weasel so Zoe could throw it, and they took a break.
When they picked up Lily, she told them she and Maxell made their cardboard boat a barrel shape, drew an octopus on it with markers, and named it the Supreme Explorer.
Lily was still damp.
Our boat floated fine for 7 seconds, but the bottom came apart. But it was fun.
You got to name your boat and decorate it?
Lily was surprised to see the wading pool full of shiny, sunken boats, all full of marbles. Zoe showed her the boat shaped like a stop sign that worked best. So what's the math on that?
I don't know. It floats with 87 marbles and it sinks with 88. So tomorrow I will make a big one just like you.
How big?
Big enough for me and Captain Pelican. I can use my cardboard box from Uncle Beto.
How much do you weigh?
54 pounds last time at the grocery store.
Let's weigh Captain Pelican. Lily liked to bake, so she knew how to use the kitchen scale. She put a big bowl on the scale and put Captain Pelican in. Zoe stood on a step stool and petted the captain till she stopped wiggling.
5 pounds, 14 ounces. The captain curled up in the bowl and started snoring.
Let's figure out how big your boat needs to be.
Thanks. I'll work on the name and decorations.
Lily sat down with her cell phone calculator, a pencil, and their mom's tape measure.
While Zoe drew 6,000 flowers and 2 million stars on Uncle Beto's box, then defended it from pirates with her blue pool noodle sword.
So your octagon has 8 sides. You need to make each side 2 feet long and make the whole boat 1 foot deep.
Zoe wrote Lily's numbers in her science notebook with green zigzags and a purple striped explosion. She and Lily measured Uncle Beto's box and drew the shape with Zoe's pink sidewalk chalk till Captain Pelican woke up and wanted them to chase her.
When their mom got out of yet another online meeting, she used the very sharp knife Zoe and Lily weren't allowed to use to cut out along the lines and make Zoe's boat shape. Here's the duct tape, said their mom. But that's for tomorrow, right?
While they ate, Lily told them that sharks are white below, so fish can't see them if they look up at the sun. But sharks are dark on top, so it's hard for people looking down from boats to see them. Zoe drew a picture in her science notebook with pink zigzag sharks who really stood out in the water.
In the morning, they dropped off Lily at camp, and Zoe watched the big girls talking about measuring erosion at the beach. But she didn't feel as bad as yesterday because she had a project.
Zoe spent the morning duct taping her boat together. It was harder than she thought it would be to tear duct tape pieces off, but she figured out how to get things started with her kindergarten scissors.
By the time Lily got back from camp, Zoe was in her bathing suit, drawing a picture of the cardboard boat she made.
Zoe's boat was festooned with blue and purple streamers from their mom's birthday and covered in a million crayon flowers. The boat's name was written big in bright red marker.
Wow, Zoe. Cool boat.
The fantastic, spectacular float boat of flowers. Zoe's boat was almost as big as the wading pool. They picked it up carefully and set it gently in the water.
The fantastic, spectacular float boat of flowers floated! Zoe and Lily cheered, and the captain squeaked her weasel. Lily helped Zoe climb in.
Cool! I'm floating! Their mom stepped out stretching after her last online meeting and took a picture on her phone and clapped as Captain Pelican ran loops around the pool.
14, 15, 16 seconds. That's good.
Now the captain, 'cause this boat is made for two.
Lily scooped up Captain Pelican and set her in Zoe's arms. The fantastic, spectacular boat floated for 6 seconds more as Zoe beamed in triumph, and their mom cheered and took a picture.
Then it gently sank, and Zoe and the captain went down with the ship. But we measured, and I made it beautiful.
I don't understand. I double-checked my math.
Their mom lifted Zoe out of the boat and held her tight. Then she picked up Captain Pelican. I wonder, said their mom, do you think this dog is getting bigger? They all looked at Captain Pelican.
That's an interesting question. Lily got the kitchen scale while Zoe dried off the captain and put her in the bowl. That dog's 4 ounces bigger, just since yesterday.
I thought she wouldn't get much bigger.
She's a puppy, said their mom. She was scared and lost before. Now she's got a home, so she is growing.
Zoe glared at Captain Pelican, who sunk her fantastic, spectacular float boat of flowers. But the captain wagged her tail, and it was hard to stay mad. I'm going to have to start all over, and I thought of such a cool boat name.
You can keep the name. This is just the prototype. The fantastic, spectacular float boat of flowers Mark I.
We need more cardboard boxes. That guy next door is always putting big ones in the trash. He doesn't even flatten them. The next day, they weighed the captain before Lily took a field trip to a beach so cool they had to kayak to it. Zoe struggled with a pang of longing, but she and Captain Pelican had her boat to think about. And sure enough, the captain was 6 ounces bigger.
Lily did the math as they drove to camp. When Zoe got home, their mom got a big cardboard box from the guy next door, while Zoe gave him a magic marker map to his recycling bin.
Zoe spent the morning taping a new and bigger boat together. Then she drew it in her science notebook with a blue giraffe and orange zigzags, while the captain took a nap in it.
When they picked up Lily, the fantastic, spectacular float boat of flowers Mark II was ready for a test launch.
Zoe squinted while their mom smeared sunscreen on all over as Lily told them how a gang of scuba chickens chased fish around their kayaks on her super cool field trip.
Zoe said scuba chicken was what she would like for supper. Until Lily told them that's what marine scientists call cormorants, the big black diving birds that ride low in the water.
They lifted Zoe's new boat into the wading pool. It barely fit, but it floated.
Lily helped Zoe step in and started the timer while their mom chased Captain Pelican around the azalea bush and set her in Zoe's boat.
Zoe and Captain Pelican floated triumphantly in the fantastic, spectacular Float Boat of Flowers Mark II as Lily and their mom cheered. Zoe felt amazing and felt something else. Wet as her spectacular boat sunk again. But why? No fair. I worked so hard, and it was math. She jammed her wet toes in her sandals and tried not to cry.
I don't understand. I double-checked the math. I even showed it to my teachers.
I wonder, said their mom. Your sandals look a little tight, Zoe. Are you getting taller? They went inside and measured Zoe against the wall. You grew 1/2 inch since last month, Zoe. Congratulations.
That would throw the math off.
How does anybody build a boat if everybody in the boat keeps getting bigger?
That's an interesting question.
The fantastic, spectacular Float Boat of Flowers Mark II is as big as our wading pool. If the Mark III is even bigger, how am I going to test it?
Another interesting question, said their mom. They took a quick trip to the grocery store to pick up garlic and bananas and weigh Zoe on the big scale.
1 3/4 pounds more?
Lily did the math when they got home, while Zoe drew red and orange monsters on a submarine with purple zigzags. Zoe looked at Lily's measurements.
That's bigger than the wading pool.
It's math. You can't argue, but it was a good try.
Zoe drew a pink whale in her science notebook, wearing a funny green hat with a flower. Cardboard seems like it gets wet and sinks no matter what you do.
It's true. Our boats only last a minute if they work.
So what if I make a boat that's different, so it's floatier?
That's an interesting question. The next morning, they dropped Lily off at camp, where she was going to use real tools to build a tiny submarine and look at bacteria on the bottom of her sneaker.
Zoe wanted to build a submarine and see sneaker bacteria, but she and Captain Pelican focused on looking for floaty things.
Zoe found a deflated unicorn their cousins gave them from their pool, and her big blue sword that could turn back into a pool noodle. The captain found Zoe's purple baby blanket. Zoe wrote their findings in her scientific notebook.
She realized she missed the biggest floaty thing, the giant purple plastic tub that held their stuffed animals. She tipped it over and lost Captain Pelican in a sea of fuzzy monkeys and a floppy Christmas moose. Zoe piled all the monkeys and the Christmas moose on Lily's bed. Now the tub was empty. She put the captain in and climbed in after. Room enough.
In one of the ocean books Zoe borrowed from the library, she remembered a rectangular boat with big balloons around it. She hunted till she found it. A pontoon boat with tubes of floaty air strapped underneath and all around it.
Zoe drew a purple pontoon boat with rainbows for life preservers and a gold-rimmed monster at the wheel, wearing a funny hat. Then she and Captain Pelican went on an expedition for the closest thing that Zoe could think of to pontoons: big plastic bottles.
They found 3 milk jugs and 2 juice bottles in the recycling bin. Zoe drew them in her scientific notebook, being juggled by pink monsters.
I need more plastic bottles so I can make pontoons.
Good idea, their mom said. But we're cutting down on plastic, so we don't have those big plastic detergent bottles now.
That guy next door does. He just throws them in the trash.
Their mom said. Before we go that far, let's ask around. Zoe's mom texted her grandma and Zoe's aunties and baked banana bread while she was in an online meeting with her camera off.
Tell them that I need to make a flag. They all wear cool scarves, so could I borrow some? And a lot of crazy colors, please. After work, their mom made coffee as the ladies in Zoe's family showed up. lugging giant plastic bags of plastic bottles and wearing crazy colored scarves to donate to science. Uncle Beto came for fun and for banana bread since he was very anti-plastic.
So, when Lily got home with pictures of an underwater robot she made with a power drill,
Zoe showed Lily her notebook where she counted 19-gallon bottles, 6 goat milk kefir jugs, and 167 water bottles that Auntie Coco had, since she only just got a cool polka-dotted one that she could refill.
that's a lot of plastic.
The good thing is that they're recycling, said their mom, and we're going to have a chat about bar shampoo.
Lily ate banana bread as she did the calculations. Captain Pelican patrolled under the table for banana crumbs.
And we've got my blue pool noodle sword. And see? Zoe showed Lily the inflatable unicorn. That's the masthead.
Cool beans. But it's tricky, 'cause your bottles are a lot of different sizes. And you and Captain Pelican keep growing.
I want the fantastic, spectacular float boat of Flowers Mark IV to last forever. So please do the math for that.
Mark 4, not 3?
My idea is growing too.
Lily did the math again.
Add a water bottle and some snacks, because it's crazy to set sail without provisions.
Okay, but you've got to weigh them.
I already did. Zoe wrote everything in purple in her science notebook and drew rainbow stars around the numbers while the captain dove into the pile of plastic bottles.
How are you gonna stick those bottles to your boat?
Good question. We're running out of duct tape.
Auntie B stopped for a hug before she headed home and admired the fantastic, spectacular float boat of flowers, Mark IV in progress.
We need to find a way to attach all these bottles to my boat so they're pontoons.
You know, I've got a sailboat, Auntie B said. So I've got some rope in my truck and I've got a fishing net. Why don't you use that? She gave them all the rope she had and a fishing net that smelled a lot like fish. Captain Pelican flung herself in and wiggled.
Zoe drew flowers on every single plastic bottle. Then she and Lily spread the fishing net out and put the Mark V in the middle.
Mark V?
I made some updates, see? Now there's flowers on the inside so that Captain Pelican and I can see them.
Zoe and Lily divvied up the bottles so all 4 sides of the boat had plenty. Then they rolled the net up so it hugged the bottles up against the plastic bin as lumpy but floaty pontoons.
After building underwater robots with a power drill, Lily used their mom's drill to make holes in the walls of the Mark V, high enough that Zoe's boat wouldn't leak, and big enough to thread the rope through.
Auntie B's rope smelled to Zoe like seagulls, and to Captain Pelican like heaven. Their pontoon progress hung up because the captain wanted to play tug of war.
When the captain wore out, Zoe and Lily wove the rope all through the fishing net and through the holes that Lily drilled.
I told the marine scientists about your boat, and they all want to see it. They said if you bring it to Clam Bayou tomorrow morning, you can launch it from the shore and try it out like a real experiment.
Really? Zoe was thrilled, then scared, then thrilled again. Wow, thank you.
Sure, I want to see your cool boat float. Zoe tied the inflatable unicorn on the front of the boat so it could be a spectacular masthead. Then wove a crazy colored flag using a scarf from every auntie.
Zoe thought she would never fall asleep, but it was suddenly morning and Captain Pelican was licking Zoe's nose. Zoe squinted as their mom smeared sunscreen all over. They carefully carried the fantastic, spectacular float boat of Flowers Mark V to the car. Zoe wore her purple floppy hat and scientific sunglasses and carried Captain Pelican. The crazy-colored flag with a scarf from every auntie fluttered every time they turned a corner.
Lily's friends poured out when they arrived, all cheering, and carried Zoe's boat into the lab.
Zoe stepped inside a shady, sprawling building with shells everywhere.
Welcome, Zoe, and nice pontoons. A gentlewoman in a blue camp t-shirt shook her hand. I'm Dr. Greeley. I hear you took our cardboard boat idea and built an even better one. Cool unicorn.
Thank you. I just kept trying.
That's how science works. A friendly woman with a lot of hair joined in. I'm Mackenzie. What's your boat's name?
The fantastic, spectacular float boat of flowers, Mark 5.5.
And a half?
I drew a few more flowers on while we were driving.
Terrific, said Mackenzie. Ladies?
Zoe's boat was carried carefully by many girls. Zoe and Captain Pelican joined the parade to a small, sheltered beach. Zoe's boat looked fantastic and spectacular, held up high by cool 8th graders, the crazy colored flag streaming in the breeze.
They set the fantastic, spectacular float boat of flowers, Mark 5.5, in the water. The unicorn did look fantastic as the masthead. Zoe waded in the warm water with her backpack.
It's okay. You need provisions on a boat. And Lily did the math.
Mackenzie turned a bucket upside down so Zoe could use it as a ladder. She gave Zoe a hand as she stepped inside. It floated. Start the timer!
Zoe leaned back in her boat as Lily handed her a wiggly Captain Pelican, who did feel heavier than yesterday. Zoe felt the fantastic, spectacular float boat of flowers rocking gently in the water as everybody counted seconds. 28, 29, 30.
She saw the sky behind Mackenzie's wavy hair, the flag of crazy colored scarves swinging in the wind. Zoe looked at the flowers. She'd stayed up almost 20 minutes late to finish drawing on the inside of the boat, just for her and Captain Pelican.
Suddenly, she didn't feel like taking notes. Zoe floated. Thrilled, she really built something. She just kept trying, and it worked.
Stop the timer!
Why? It's working.
That's why, laughed Mackenzie. We don't have to time how long your boat will float, because it isn't going to sink. You did a terrific job, Zoe, Dr. Greeley said. Tell me the name of your boat again.
The fantastic, spectacular float boat of flowers, Mark 5.5.
So, you tried 5 other versions.
Well, I just kept trying. Lily did the math, but the captain just kept growing, and I kept getting taller.
How did you think of the pontoons?
From my library book, Zoe found her drawing of a purple pontoon boat in her science notebook with rainbow life preservers and a gold-rimmed monster in a funny hat.
And you wrote down everything? And wow, you drew these pictures?
Lily said I had to, 'cause it's science. Our aunties and my grandma helped by bringing bottles. Auntie B gave me the rope and net.
That's fantastic, Zoe. Teamwork. You are the first second grader ever to come to the Oceanography camp, especially for girls.
Can I come next summer?
Well, the camp is just for girls who finish 8th grade. And I think that's 6 more years for you.
But that's forever.
But you've got so much exciting science to discover in the meantime. Reading books and trying out experiments. Lily led the cheer. Let's hear it for Zoe! And everybody clapped and cheered.
Zoe got to spend the day with Lily and the cool 8th graders talking about plankton and fish that live so deep their skin flashes like fireworks to light things up. Zoe decided she would make a submarine next, covered in purple zigzags.
Thanks for listening to our Sparks Creative Stories podcast. We hope you'll subscribe and share it with your friends. Zoe Can Float is written by Sheila Cowley, performed by Eugenie Bondurant and Fanny Green, directed by Jim Rayfield. This story is inspired by the Oceanography camp, especially for girls, at the University of South Florida, St. Petersburg, a free 3-week program where 8th grade girls get hands-on experience in every kind of marine science you heard about in this story, and more. You can find an illustrated version of this story with photos of amazing things young scientists do at Oceanography Camp on our Sparks Creative Stories YouTube channel, and many more stories in English, in Spanish, and in ASL. Our theme song is performed by David Waterman at David Waterman Music, produced and arranged by Jim Beckwith. We made this Sparks Creative Story because you can figure out anything if you just keep trying. And it helps to go to the library and ask around. You can go to sparkscreativestories.com and use the contact page to let us know what kind of story you'd like Sparks to make.